Time to talk with Northwoods Community Realty. I said the folks were here. I wasn't sure who was going to be here, but Steve Garrison, also known as Opie, is here, and so is Jackie Leonard. Good morning, you two.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff.
All right, good to see you both. And I was saying, Jackie, it's been a while. I haven't been in here on a Friday, the first Friday of the month, in a while. And so nice to see you both again.
Yeah, you too.
Today is bell ringing day for Northwoods Community Realty and other real estate firms here in the area, right?
That is. It's actually a nationwide real estate ring day. So this is the day to see all your real estate agents out there at all over the country.
See, now I thought that was just a local thing here, but it's going on all over. Why? What do we think was the reasoning behind getting all the realtors together on one day to ring bells?
Yeah, I think it's just nice to come together as real estate agents and represent everybody's, each individual community and be out there and volunteering and taking our turn at ringing the bell. You know what?
Real estate firms are very integral in building communities. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to get the property we need to build communities. And so thank you for just another way of giving back to the communities that you help build.
Yeah, we always want to make sure, that's always been part of our commitment at Northwoods Community Realty is to give back to the community, and we're happy to ring the bell today.
And you've been doing it now for 13 years, huh?
13 years as Northwoods Community Realty,
right.
And I think this is going to be my anniversary. I think was December 3rd for being in real estate.
I see.
21 years. I'm going to my 21st year.
But 13 years as the boss, as the owner, as the person that sits at the desk that says the buck stops here.
Right.
Looking
Took a
back,
leap of faith.
Looking back on the last 13 years, what are some of the things that really come to mind, other than the highlight being hiring Opie?
Right.
Because I know you're going to say that.
He was my first agent.
Was he really?
I got very lucky in that.
I think I confused her, Jeff. I literally, after transitioning from Tomahawk Log, I took out the yellow pages and I looked at careers, like narrowed it down to 10, 6, 4, 2, looking at liability, most income possibilities. And I came in to talk to Jackie, and she said, "So do you have a property you want to list?" I said, "No, I'm not really looking to do that. I'm looking to talk more about real estate." And then it snowballed from there 12 years ago.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. I didn't know that he was the first.
Yep. Susan, his wife, was working in our building with Randy Plattenberg, and that was where I started, was in the Randy Plattenberg's
Got it. Yep.
building there right across from where I am now.
Right.
So that's where we started, and we grew with some agents and needed to expand and ended up building our building there. It seems like yesterday. But.
Yeah, it's working out well. Nice location right as you come into town, too. Always well-kept office space there, and it looks nice. And for 13 years in this business, Jackie, I'm just curious, and you too, since you've been along for the whole 13-year ride here, Opie, what were the interest rates when you opened up the office 13 years ago? Mortgage rates, do you remember?
They were probably about 5
I
or
was
6.
going to say 5.5.
Yeah, probably what they are now.
Right where we are right now.
Yeah. The big high, was prior to that. We haven't had the 12s and 14s, and since Jackie's had her own business, she's experienced it prior, and that changed the world a lot.
I'm also curious, over the last 13 years, what are some of the biggest differences when it comes to the properties? The properties, let's say, the properties, but when it comes to marketing and doing business, selling those properties, that's changed a lot over the last 13 years, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. Even from when I started, when we had our digital camera and we'd be running out taking pictures, and then we had just started the MLS, having everything online at that point. Otherwise, we had books. I remember getting together at the time, it was Tomahawk Community Bank, with the good old boys, sitting down at a table with all the brokers, and we would come with our information sheets and exchange them. And this is what we have new this week. And every week we would meet as real estate agents and pass out our information sheets so that they knew what was new, because it was just at the beginning of the multiple listing service, which seems so strange that I've been in it that long. It was prior to, being computerized.
Other things that have changed, drone coverage right now, that's been a real biggie. I mean, it really stands out, and you can really tell the properties that are like top of the pile kind of properties are the ones with all the drone footage and stuff. Yeah,
we drone everything.
Yeah.
I really love getting that angle, and when you're taking a picture of a house, it's just so nice to be able to get that picture like you're standing on a ladder. I used to stand on a ladder sometimes.
Really?
Because when you're standing on the ground and you're taking a picture and it's a really steep frontage, the house just looks different at that angle.
Okay.
So I just think you can get a really nice photo if you can get up at a different level.
The other thing that I think is different in my prior radio life, you didn't hear realtors on the radio. It was just something that real estate didn't take advantage of at the time for whatever reason. Then realtors started to figure out that, boy, we can advertise for listings in that medium, and that's what drives the business is getting listings, right?
Yeah, it's very nice, and we're very appreciative to have this local radio station and the following that it has, because we'll leave here and we'll have several people say, "Oh, I heard you on the radio." Good. And I definitely, have gotten business off of that because we're talking about a topic, and then they want some more information.
So back to you, Opie, as far as this 13-year career with Northwoods Community Realty, any real highlights stand out to you other than being the first guy on board?
Just watching the technology evolve, and as I age out, it's hard. Jackie, if it's up to her, we wouldn't have a piece of paper in the office. And I'm old school and write things down and print things, and so it's I love the people, I love the properties, I love all that, but the technology thing is a hard thing for me. And Jackie's always helpful, and we have young people in the office that can do the 360 cameras, and she's learned how to do the drone and all that, and it's a lot to try and keep up with.
One of the other things I noticed about your office, a lot of the folks that were there did something else before they came into real estate. And how common is that people are switching to real estate? I think over the last several, 4 or 5 years especially, it's become a real hot career opportunity, hasn't it?
Yeah, we've had nurses and school teachers and...
Keith had a building background.
Yeah, Keith had worked in the building trades, which is super helpful. Dion worked at the school. So, I was just telling Dion yesterday, and she just had an amazing year this year. And, overall, she was looking at our stats and where we are per agent compared to other offices. We have 6 agents, and, what we're doing in volume per agent is at the top of the MLS. So I'm super proud of our agents for having that type of volume per agent. Plus, it just always makes me feel good that I'm doing the right advertising, that we're doing everything good as a office to have everybody make a good living. That has always been my goal. I don't want agents that are struggling to make a living. I wanted everybody to have enough leads that it's a great living for them, and we're all happy, and it makes for a happy office too.
Years ago, before I knew some of the ins and outs about this real estate business that you both are in, I thought that, maybe someday when I retire, that looks like a good job for me. I can just sit back, put my feet up on the office desk, wait till people come in and say, I want to go see a house, and they say, oh, I like that house, and I just do the paperwork. That seems like a really great way to make a living. Why are you smiling so big there, Opie?
Because I have a lot of clients say that too. It's at the closing, they look and say, oh my gosh, look at the check that went to Northwoods Community Realty and the other broker, and the pie gets split 4 ways to begin with, and it's a journey. Every sale is different. The septic might fail here, the appraisal came up short here, the roof needs some attention. It's a journey I always say the work starts when you get an accepted offer.
Oh, okay.
Then a seasoned agent does everything under their power to get to a successful closing, and that's what we really strive to do at our office.
And you really can't cross those bridges or cross those T's or dot the I's until it actually happens, because something can happen right up until the very last.
They're all unique.
Yeah, every single unique situation.
Yep.
Well, congratulations on 13 years. What do you see happening in the next 13 years, Jackie?
Yeah, I mean, the sky's the limit. And like Opie said, that I've always been a tech person. I grew up going to high school, taking a computer class on Radio Shack with a floppy drive.
Right.
I mean, that's where I started.
Yep.
And but in my previous career, I did desktop publishing, so I was on the first Apples, and just have always loved technology. Like if there's something new out there, I want it. So I've always been that tech, bringing that technology into real estate, and I just really feel like the next level of AI and virtual staging, and there's so many things that we can do. There's new
Do you see those things as good things?
I do.
Okay.
Like I can take a picture. I could take a picture right now, and I could remove your water bottle in one click on my phone.
Okay.
So the technology is just getting like over the top. I mean, you can do it all. A lot of that stuff you can just do it on your phone, and it used to be something you had to pay people to do, right? And to me, it just makes our job way more efficient, and we can make pictures look nice. If people leave things on the counter, I can remove toasters. I can, put furniture in an empty room and make it look nicer. To me, those are things that we're making our listings look the best they can possibly look.
But when it comes to technology is a great thing, especially when it works well, but it still comes down to this is still a people business, isn't it?
It is. And, you have to have agents and brokerages that are going to take the time to make sure that everything that you're using that technology. If you look at our on the president of the multiple listing service this year, and I just look at the age of our average real estate agent in the Northwoods is a lot older than other places, because we have a lot of people that come here and retire, and this is a great retirement job, right? And you could live in the Northwoods and still make a good living, and it's fun to run around the Northwoods and sell lake homes and walk properties, and that'd be a dream retirement job for a lot of people. So, and they're not all tech savvy. So, and we've always supported that. If you don't want to do the technology, we will take that on. We have assistants and virtual ways to make sure that you're supported in those roles and take care of that stuff for you.
Steve, are you allowed to kind of take things? What's that?
Ron Opie.
What did I say?
Steve's his brother.
That's my brother.
That's okay. I'm sorry, Ron.
That's all right.
I should just stick to Opie. I'm sorry about that. I'm at that
Steve
age.
might be upset about that.
Yeah. Sorry, Steve. Opie, technology is all great, it's still a people business. But are you allowed, as a guy who's in your second career? All right.
Yes.
Second.
Yes.
Are you allowed to kind of, as you start to get older, and you want to maybe take a little bit more time off, are you able to kind of make your own schedule? Is that why it's kind of an appealing career as well?
100%, Jeff. I've been keep saying I'm morphing and slowing out, but my phone keeps ringing and I keep answering. But it's very flexible, and it's to the point now where I'm in the office maybe 6 hours a week, but I work at home and I'll do my meetings and stuff. So it's a great wind down, and I've got a lot of good relationships that I'm going to continue on with. But the younger agents, like I haven't been on Zillow or Realtor.com in 6-8 years. I just work the relationships and friendships I have.
I was going to bring that up about the technology thing too, with Zillow and all the other websites that people can see this stuff almost like minutes after it hits the MLS. Do you see that as getting bigger and more involved, or you see that kind of going away a little bit because it's not as accurate? Now, what are your thoughts on those other websites out there?
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny there's a lot of money to be made in all aspects of real estate agents and are all in real estate in general. So of course you're going to have businesses that pop up and want to take their piece of the pie, and that's what Zillow and Realtor.com and Homes.com, they all want to charge us for our own leads on our own listings, which seems ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like I got the listing and now I got to pay you to get the buyers that want to buy it. So and we do advertise on those platforms. I advertise my listings on there because they have spent millions and billions of dollars to be the app of choice, or to advertise my listings, and so I'm paying them really to advertise my listings on a very, very high level. And so I get that, and we definitely pay to be on those platforms. It's a benefit to our sellers, and then it's a benefit to my agents to be able to get leads off of those. And it's just the
nice
world
thing
we're in.
I can say is, Jeff, that I'm not as tech savvy, but Jackie has a bar that all of our listings are going to have the same marketing, the same drone features, the same virtual walkthroughs. So I'm very fortunate to have the support of the tech people.
Got it.
Because that's not my wheelhouse. I have different strengths and she has different strengths. And when we come together, it brings NCR up all as a whole.
Got it. So interesting 13 years in the past, and looking forward is always you never know. But I just think the whole real estate world is just a very interesting world to learn a little bit more about. Inventory levels are still low. That's one thing that has been consistent now for the last several years. Do you see, either one of you see that changing anytime soon?
Yeah, I was very surprised on how the election affected a couple months prior to it. I mean, it definitely things slowed down even more than normal fall. And now that everything is over and people are either happy or not happy, it doesn't really matter. I think it's just that it's over, right? Yeah. And they know that they can move on and make financial decisions, and everything seems to be going, stock market, everything seems to be very well, and I think people are feeling very confident in any big ticket items. So I think we still have a lot of buyers out there. There's just a very low inventory. You talk about how things have changed. When I started Northwoods Community Realty 13 years ago, we made, I think, like 200 signs, and they were, at that time, started out on my own in a really bad market for sellers, because there was just tons of things weren't selling. So I got a huge amount of inventory and listings. I was carrying by myself. I was carrying, like 200 listings, which seems ridiculous when I think I probably have 10 right now. And then change. And then we ran out again, and we had to make more signs. I had like 400 signs out there at one time, and you just think you can't even imagine that as a new real estate agent. A lot of our agents haven't even seen that market. They don't even know what that is. They've always had, over the last 3 years, they've had, the listing goes
days
on
market
and it's
are
out.
20, 30, 40 days. Yeah. Back then it was 1 to 2 years.
1 to 2 years.
Wow. That's a big difference.
Especially vacant land, But so I guess that, it has just been one of the things that, we want to let people know that this is really historical lows. And as far as getting the money out of your property, if that is in your future, I mean, don't sell just to sell. You got to have somewhere to go.
Right.
But if you are, I have people that reached out like 3 years ago, and they reached out this week, and they're like, we think we're ready, and I'm like, if it's something that you're even thinking about, just at least know your value. Because I know somebody on my lake just sold their cabin for probably $100,000 less than what I got for 2 other cabins, in that same area, because they just didn't even know their value.
Timing is everything.
And they sold it to a neighbor. They didn't put it out on the MLS and let the bidding,
Got it on.
Anything on water, in that magic price point has had bidding wars. We just sold one, just closed one on Half Moon, that we listed at $3 for a seasonal cabin, and we listed at $3, we got $360. So yeah,
I think some people get caught up in the overwhelming wave of sentiment in the country. People are saying, well, it's just not a good time yet. Interest rates are still a little bit high, and people get caught up in that kind of hype. I think it all comes down to individuals. Lots of folks are doing just fine. They've got the money. They're just waiting for the house to hit the market. And so I wonder how many people are sitting on Bitcoin right now that are thinking about cashing that in, making thousands and thousands of dollars over the last several months here, and or several weeks, especially the way that stuff has surged. So if you've got some money in your own individual situation, get into the market now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Buying, selling, either way. We've got about 30 seconds left here. So do you want to talk about buyer agency or Star Splash?
Star Splash. We're going to be talking, I think, on the 17th about that. So we'll leave that for another day.
Okay.
And what was
buyer agency.
Buyer agency.
You can't handle that in 30 seconds.
I can't, but I just want people to know that that's going really well.
Yeah.
A lot of people are jumping on.
The world was coming to an end, and it didn't.
And it's all, same thing. We're just
business
doing more.
Usual.
Yeah, we're just doing more buyer agency. You don't have to do buyer agency, and you definitely don't. So talk about our options. I just want people to know that that's going really well. And the world did not end.
And I could give Jackie a plug if there's anybody out there that's always thought that real estate kind of interests them. Stop in and talk to Jackie, because it's a good career and there's good potential out of our office.
You never know. You might be sitting in this studio 13 years from now. I'll still be here. I'll be fatter. I'll be having less hair and all that kind of stuff, but probably still here. But you never know what happens in the future.
Yeah, John Helverson is retiring also this year out of our Lake Tomahawk office, and he got his real estate license before I was born, and I'm not a young lady. So,
okay.
It's
been wonderful.
Yeah, it's a great career, and, he did it, well into his 80s, and so we congratulate him.
How can people get a hold of Northwoods Community Realty? What's the best way to get educated?
On our website, northwoodscr.com, or they can give us a call, 715-453-2673.
Merry Christmas to both. You're coming back on the 17th, starts, so I'll say Merry Christmas to you again.
Okay.
Opie,
and
thanks.
I'll say hi to Steve, too.
Okay, say hi to Steve for me. Tell him Merry Christmas from Jeff in the
Will
Morning.
do, Jeff.
Have a great holiday, you two.
Thank you.